What is up, folks? So today I'm going to be showing you how to install the Citra emulator itself, as well as HD textures, the games, updates, and DLC. And there is a final tutorial in there just in case. It's more around the end. Also, the HD textures are completely optional. I should say that right now, HD textures are 100% optional, but they do make the interference look really, really nice. And I'm making this video because Nintendo recently announced that the eShop is closing down. And that's kind of bad, especially with scalpers nowadays. So you know what? Let's just jump right into this, all right? So first things first, we are going to be downloading the big boy himself, Citra. There are other versions of Citra from what I understand, Citra MMJ and Citra Enhanced. I don't use those. If you want to use that, that's at your own discretion. I don't use those, and from what I've heard, sometimes they can have some finicky things with them. This is the official Citra emulator. I don't really know why you would use the other ones, but if you want to, go ahead. But let's just get started. We're gonna click the download here and download for Windows. Next, I'm going to be showing you the official Citra website. This is for the community HD textures. From here, you can download any HD textures you want for whatever game you have. As you can see, the community constantly replies and updates it. This is done by the community. This isn't done by official Citra, but they are very safe, 100%. You have Persona Q here, Bravely Default HD. You have the interference right here for The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds, Shin Megami Tensei. So all of these are here for you if you ever want to use them. You don't have to. Like I said, HD textures are completely optional, but I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. So I'm going to download one for Overclock. So let's just click on Overclock, and I'm going to download the latest version right here. And these files can get pretty big. This one compressed is a gigabyte, so I imagine it's probably going to be like 2 gigabytes by the time we're done. So I highly recommend that you make sure you have enough space for these. But like I said, these are all here for you. And next, sadly, I cannot show you this part, but where to get the ROMs or the updates or DLC, I sadly cannot show you where to get this. I really wish I could, but with how Nintendo is with these things, Nintendo ninjas would come after me and hunt me down. So I really wish I could show you guys where to get the games. You know, it'd be really nice. Like, let's say you want a certain game. It'd be really nice if you could just click it and just click the download. That'd be really, really cool. I'm just saying. There's also stuff from what I hear, the updates. If you could if those were connected together, that would be really cool as well. But like I said, I sadly cannot show you where to do this. I really wish I could, but it's just not possible with today's laws. And I'm really sorry for that, guys. Really sorry. Also, like, how cool would it be if the DLC and stuff like that was just connected as well? Like, I wish there was something where we could just see the DLC for whatever game we want, or if it was, you know, in the categories or stuff like that. But like I said, folks, I can't show you that stuff. It's sad. I know you're gonna be upset at me that this isn't a full tutorial, but sorry, folks. I just can't do it. It's not possible. Alrighty, guys, and now that everything is done being downloaded, let's go ahead and go through the setup process. So I have Citra, as well as the HD textures that I downloaded for the game I'm using, and SMT Devil Survivor. So first things first, we're going to start it off with Citra. We're going to just run the program, and you're just going to install it right there where it is at that directory. Don't worry about changing anything. You're just going to accept everything and accept the license as well. This is Citra Start menu. Go ahead and install it. And this will take a while. There we go. All right, and we're all done. I'm going to go ahead and delete this. Let me just go ahead and delete that right there. Next, we're going to set up our game folder. So for me, as you guys know, I like to keep stuff on my secondary drive. So I'm just going to make a new folder, and I'm going to call it 3DS Games. You can set it up wherever you want. If you want it on the desktop, you can. I do this mostly just to keep things organized. Just make sure you know where it's at. I'm just gonna drag and drop this right into the folder right there. And then we can delete that. I'm gonna delete this again. And the HD textures we're gonna get back to later. This is just setting up the game. So I'm gonna close these windows and I'm gonna go ahead and run it. And perfect, it already found mine. In your case, if you see something like double click, just go ahead and double click on the main page right here and you should be able to find it. I'm gonna go ahead and do that right here. And you should see something like this. So we're gonna go to this PC, 3DS games, and as you can see, it's empty. That's perfectly fine. You're only looking for the folder. So if you see it empty like this, just go ahead and click select folder and it should add it for you automatically. For me, it found it automatically, so I'm okay on that. Now, let's go ahead and go into emulation configure, and we're just gonna make sure that all our settings are correct. For this one right here, as you can see, all of these are correct. You can change the theme from light mode to dark mode. You just click OK, and if I nuked your eyes right there, I'm sorry, but let's just go ahead and go back to dark mode. Then we're gonna go into configure. We have the system. I already changed it to my name. We have graphics. This is where the magic happens. So here you can choose how much resolution you want on your game. I always leave mine at 8x. For you Ryzen, or not right, for you RTX 3090 boys, if you want to go to 10x, go right ahead. I always click linear filtering off. And make sure that use custom textures is checkmarked. It's gonna come unchecked mark for you usually, so make sure you keep that check mark. But do not check mark preload custom textures. Do not do that. Unless you have like a terabyte worth of RAM, go ahead, but for the majority of everybody, you don't need this. I don't know why they have that there. It loads everything into the RAM, and that can slow down your game pretty badly. Unless, like I said, you have a terabyte worth of RAM or something crazy like that. Advanced, obviously just leave these as they are. Audio, I have mine at 50% because this game can get pretty loud sometimes. And controls, I have my Xbox controller set up here, as you can see, and these are all the buttons for Xbox. If you want to add a new configuration, you would just go into the new and add whatever configuration you want. Alrighty, if you have any issues at all with a video game, so for Devil Survivor Overclock, there is an issue with it booting up, and I'm going to show you right now. So let's just go ahead and allow access, yes. And it's going to load up like normal, but as you can see, you can hear the music, but you cannot see the game itself. And this is a pretty big issue with the game, so let's just stop it for now. If you have an issue with the game at all, you're going to go and navigate to the GameDB entry. And here you can see all the information about whatever game you're playing. As you can see, it has a rating of great. However, it also tells you to set your clock speed to 45% for it to run perfectly. So if you ever have an issue, make sure you read this section right here, the summary. That way you know what setting to change. So in my case, it said 45%. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go back into Citra, emulation configure, and I believe it's in graphics, no, system. And here's the CPU clock speed. We're going to go all the way back to 45%. I'm going to click OK. We're going to run it. And let's hope that it works, right? Let's hope. There it is. It's working perfectly. You're going to go through the menu and everything, and as you can see, it works perfectly fine. However, you might notice that it looks a little ugly. After all, this is a 3DS game being up-resed to a 4K screen or 1080 screen or whatever you have. So let's just go ahead and stop this emulation for now. Now, this next part is completely optional. If you just want to play the games without HD texture packs or whatever, go ahead. You're free to leave the video. As a matter of fact, go ahead and you're good. But for the rest of you that want HD texture packs, we're going to right click and open custom texture location. Now remember, in order for this option to appear, you have to have clicked use custom textures. All right, so we're gonna open custom texture location, not texture dump, custom texture location, and it's empty here. Then you're gonna open to wherever it is you have your HD textures. In my case, I left it in the downloads. You can unextract, you're gonna have to unextract it. Is that how you say that word? Which is what I did here. So as you can see, these are the folders. Now this is, how big is this? I believe this is a gigabyte, yeah. So you're just gonna drag and drop it right in there, click close, close, and that's it. You don't have to do anything else for HD texture packs. It'll automatically load it for you. So let's go ahead and open it up. And as you can see, it's gonna start loading it in pretty soon. And I don't know if you can tell the difference, but it does look way better than what we had originally. You can actually read what the words say. I know there's mods for audio and stuff like that, but that stuff is a bit more intrusive, and I don't really like to mess with that because you can mess up your game that way. So let's go ahead and stop this. Now, if you ever want to check your save data location, this is also where you would see it. You would just right click, open save data, and this is where your saves would be at. If you have saves from the 3DS that you use, that you want to transfer to your PC, obviously you have to use checkpoint and all that. This is where you would drag them to. So I have my save from my 3DS. I'm gonna go into this is my own personal save that I have. So we're gonna go into the 3DS save, and where is it? Overclock save. So as you can see, this is for my 3DS. So this is my own personal save that I have. So I'm gonna delete the one from Citra. If I can do that. We're gonna delete the one from Citra, and this is from my 3DS that I use checkpoint with. I'm gonna drag it into the same spot. I'm gonna click X, and I'm gonna load up the game. It's all instantaneous as well, so you don't have to wait like a couple seconds or minutes. And it should let me continue right from where I was at. There it is right there, load game. And as you can see, I'm already in there. I can load my game up. Everything works perfectly. And if you want to change the view, go ahead and go into view, screen layout. I like to do large screen, as you can see right there. And it's perfect. See, you're playing the 3DS on your PC perfectly. Now, you're good from here. There is one last tutorial I do want to give. You don't need to listen to it. It's completely optional. In fact, I doubt you'll come across this issue, but if you do, it's good to have knowledge of this. So we're gonna go ahead and close this, and we're gonna close this. So I downloaded 2 ROMs from that website that sadly I can't show you guys, and that is Pokemon Ultra Sun and the updates. Now, updates and DLC are done exactly the same way. So I'm just gonna rename this to update instead. Update. And we're gonna click this, and I'm gonna drag it to my secondary drive, which you guys know I like to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and go into my secondary drive, 3DS games, and I'm gonna drag them in there. And then I'm gonna delete the original. All right, we're perfect. Empty my recycle bin here. Okay, now let's show you guys what I mean. You're gonna come across an issue, and it doesn't happen often, but when it does, it's good to have knowledge of this. So let's see if what happened. Let's see if I can refresh here. I don't think I can. Let me just re-add the directory again. 3DS games, select folder, and as you can see, it's not being added. The reason for this is because this Ultra Sun game right here is encrypted. So some of these games do come back as encrypted. It's usually for safety reasons from what I understand, but the fix is extremely easy. This last part I'm also going to be leaving a tutorial for. But basically there is a 3DS decryptor that you have to use. You can use the GitHub link that's on this website, but I use the GBA temp, mostly because the GitHub link doesn't work for me and I don't know how to navigate that website too well. So I'm going to go into downloads. I have my 3DS decryptor. I'm going to extract all. All right, perfect. I'm gonna delete this folder, and then here it is, right here, 3ds Decryptor. Now, it's very simple. In case you have anything like what I just showed you, and it's it mostly with the Pokemon games from what I've seen. Usually games that are that are based around any region, not US region, is what I've seen are encrypted. But it's simple. You're just gonna take this 3DS game, Pokemon Ultra Sun, drop it right in here. Then we're gonna click on the batch 3DS decryptor. It's gonna start decrypting, so give it a second there. All right, and it's all done. So press any key to exit. I'm gonna press the enter key, and there we go. So as you can see, it's gonna mark it as decrypted, and it even changed the file to CCI. You can delete the original .cia after this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and delete it from both these folders, and I'm gonna drag it back over here. Excellent. Then I'm gonna delete the original. There we go. All right, now that it's decrypted, let's just go ahead and drag it right in there. And there we go. It launched perfectly. Play the game in English. Yes. Okay, you get the idea. And there it is. It already added it in there. Now, if you want to add an update, let's go ahead and go into the file, install Cia. So if it's an update or DLC, you're going to click install Cia. And there's the update right there. That's the folder that I called update. And look at that, it's encrypted. So let's go ahead and do that same process. We're gonna drag it right into there. So this is the update file. We're gonna drag it right in there. Let me delete this. Go ahead and click on the batch Cia decryptor. It's gonna start decrypting it. Done. Easy. It's very easy. It's already patched up and ready to go. Let me delete these two. And then install Cia once again. And this is the update patch decrypted. And there it is. It's all done. As you can see, it's at version 1.2. This is the latest. We can go ahead and just run it. And it'll load in perfectly fine, as you can see. I'm going to click English. I don't know, begin game, I guess. We're not really here to play the games. I'm just showing you guys that it works. But that's it, folks. And like I said, if you have an issue at all, you right click, navigate to game database, and it's going to pull up with everything. It's going to tell you the game ID and all that stuff. And that's it. I hope this helped you, folks. You can actually delete this update file once you're done using it. It won't delete anything because it's already installed. So you can just have your games here. I usually leave this as decrypted just to know which ones are decrypted, obviously. But folks, that's it. You're all good to go. Like I said, this batch 3DS decryptor is completely optional, and I hope this video helped you out in some way, especially with the future of digital copies of the eShop being much more scarce than before, and scalpers. I hope this video helped anyone, and if it did, then hey, great. If not, then I don't know.